welcome to Wild West Pobeth. We're here in person, so that's pretty cool, right? All right, I'm going to be introducing our MC for the night. It's not me, but we've got a pretty cool MC. So, since 2009, Asia Sampson has toured and performed his poetry at over 1,000 colleges. He's been seen on HBO Deaf Poetry and has shared stage with such acts as Janelle Monáe, Jill Scott, Mos Def, Def Prez, DMX, and KRS-One. He's been featured on TEDx, Button Poetry, So Far Sounds, and NPR's Tiny Desk contest. He currently holds the record for the highest booked poetry act in the college market, winning the awards for APCA Performer of the Year and 3 times the APCA Spoken Word Artist of the Year. Give a round of applause for Asia Sampson.
So think back to when you were a child. And then the count of 3, yell out what you wanted to be when you grew up. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. That's good. It's like all the muffled voices. This makes it sound really clear up here. What was yours? Just so I can hear it. A jeweler? That's awesome. That's dope. I've never heard that. How about you? Right here. No, yeah. Is that a thing here? Is that what it is? Y'all want to know what I wanted to be? I wanted to be a heart surgeon / architect / painter / ninja. Like, that's a thing, right? Like, think about it. I would design and build the hospital where I work, saving lives by day while assassinating them by night. Only the bad guys, obviously. Okay, fine, mostly. Then use the blood of those I've slain to paint beautiful landscapes on my porch every Sunday. Okay, that's disturbing, but it's totally doable, and I kept believing that. Until Maya, a 2nd grader, punched me in my 3rd grade stomach, and I let out such a loud scream, I realized I would make the most horrible ninja ever, but that's okay, because I could still be a heart surgeon / architect / painter. And I kept believing that until Mrs. Mercutio, my high school counselor, told me my grades were as low as my parents' income, so I better think of something else besides med school. To this day, I wonder if she's still there, flicking off the light switch inside our children to keep them from being brilliant, but that's okay, because I could still be an architect / painter. And I kept believing that until my father, who's an architect, said it's really hard to find a job as an architect. Wait, no. Until they said artists will always starve. Wait, no. Until be realistic. Until find stability. Until I had no slashes left to keep tabs of all of my dreams. As children, we transformed blankets into tents and explored the safaris of our bedrooms by flashlight. We wore goggles and snorkels in the bathtub, believing this was an ocean filled with wonders and sea creatures we will discover when we dive. We tied towels around our necks and flew off the coffee table, pointing to the spot where we needed to land to break our record. We drew pictures of ourselves, the astronauts / teachers, the ballet dancers / rock stars. I kept mine at the bottom of my drawer for safekeeping, only to find them last week, hidden beneath mortgage papers and credit card statements and the work badge I used to enter the building of a job I never wanted. How much further was I willing to bury who I was meant to become just to live a life that's steady? How long have I muffled the voices of those drawings when they tried to tell me steady? It's just a word we like to use anytime someone asks, how's your life? And we're too ashamed to give the actual answer. In 2006, my doctor looked me in the eyes and told me I had testicular cancer, to which I replied, yay, sounds like a ball. He didn't laugh. Instead, he says, you understand that after we remove one testicle, you'll only have one testicle left. And I said, okay, well then I'll just change my name to One Hung Lo, because I'm Asian. Still nothing. Instead, he says, you might not be able to have children after this. You might want to consider having your sperm frozen before the surgery. And I said, great, I will never look at frozen yogurt the same way ever again. He didn't think any of my jokes were funny. But how could you not find them funny? You're talking about me, the guy who once had dreams of doing ambitious things and is now teaching telemarketing to students and retired bankers. The guy who was taught that being a man meant being fully equipped, and now you want to come snip and separate the Wonder Twins? The guy who will later tell his friends, and they'll respond by texting him a picture of a wonton saying, hey, don't worry, we found you a replacement. The guy who's already so skinny that those automatic doors at the grocery store can't detect me, and I have to wave my arms and jump like a madman until it opens. And now you're saying I may have to go through chemo, which will make me skinnier than I already am. Damn, how is that not hilarious? Yeah, you might not find that funny, but I can guarantee you that whoever's piloting my fate decided to raid the minibar, lock the cockpit doors, and is hysterically pissing their pants by now. Have you ever wondered why maniacal laughter is never included in the stages of grief? Maybe because it doesn't last that long. Maybe it's just a parenthesis, nestled between denial and anger, hold the grin between my clenched teeth, long enough to get the hell out of his office so I can cry on the shoulders of my car seat, how did I get here? I've never been one to go rogue and write my life past the margins. I once made billboards of my milestones and staggered them along my road to success, and now I'm wondering at what point did I lose the concrete beneath my steps. Maybe it's when my parents took that first flying exit out of their marriage. Maybe it's when I took that detour out of college, thinking there had to be a faster way, only to find myself going in circles until the student loan light started blinking. Maybe I got tired of running on empty. Maybe it's why I took that desk job that promised me my own corner office. Maybe I couldn't tell if it was the tie or the slow death strangling my neck, working long hours, paying for a degree I never got. Maybe that's what led to this. Laying on the hospital bed, my eyes towards the God I was told was a God of promise, asking, are you laughing yet? Do you not see this? The heavy-handed nurse pushing the needle in and out of my skin, failing to find a vein for the IV. The machines beeping like an SOS distress signal, like maybe this is it for me. The rock bottom ending to a life spent falling. How funny that the last words I'll ever hear is a doctor saying he'll do his best to make the scar as minimal as possible, as if my prayers resided on that. I don't remember anything after. I just remember the fade to black. But I do remember this. Just before the darkness engulfed me like a confession booth, just before the anesthesia grabbed me by the veins to drag me to my sleep, I heard a voice say, don't you see? This is your out. Because how can you ask to be molded into the person you're meant to be and then question how it's being done now? And when I woke up, I found myself here, standing on this stage, performing a poem where I get to say, I'm now 14 years cancer-free. I got a sexy battle scar slash beneath my belly. Oh, and remember what they said about me not being able to have children? Well, I should also mention, I now have a son much more perfect than any poem that can ever come from me. My son, who hides fruit snacks in the crevices of the couch and eats them again 2 days later. My son, who has this weird thing about placing stickers over his nipples. My son, who gets to pick out a book for us to read before he goes to bed, and eventually figured out that the longer the book, the longer he gets to stay up. No, I will not read you the entire Twilight trilogy. Now, put that back in mommy's drawer before you ruin it. My son, all right, so my son is 6 years old, right? Let me just break for a sec. So he's potty trained, obviously, but he's not at that age yet, right, where he can, wipe himself, right? And I kid you not, the other day, this dude was in the toilet, doing his business, and when he finished, this dude yells out, Alexa, I'm done. I'm like, no, dude, Alexa doesn't do that. My son, who manages to leave Legos on the floor in the exact same spot I'll be walking in the middle of the night, so when the top of those Antichrist toys meets the bottom of my holy foot, I have to hold my mouth to silence the screams, because if I wake him, he won't go back to sleep for the rest of my life. If you think I'm overreacting, let me ask you, have you ever stepped barefoot on Legos? Yeah? Trust me, it hurts a lot more than having a testicle removed, but I still let him have them, because every time we put a new Lego set together, he immediately takes it apart and rearranges all the pieces, and when I tell him that's not how it looks in the picture, he replies by saying, it's okay, this way is better. Sometimes fate has a way of dismantling our lives to tell us it's okay, this way is better. May we all be rearranged and rebuilt like that. May the billboards of our plans be shredded by the wind, so I'll ask you again. Think back to when you were a child and the answer you gave when someone asked what you wanted to be when you grew up. Think of how quick those answers came, held together by slashes before the world tried tearing them apart. Yeah, we may no longer want what we wanted back then, but it doesn't mean our hearts are meant to settle for something we don't want now, because somewhere you're 6 years old, still filling in the blanks of all the things you've ever wanted to be. You that could be firefighter slash veterinarian. You that could be superhero slash jeweler. You that could be... Yeah, right? That's what it was, right? You, that could be Master Chef slash PlayStation gold medalist. You, the wide-eyed wanderers with your gaze towards the horizon. You, with the impossible mountains to climb. Do it for the gram. Bring your slash back. Place them between everything that makes up who you are, whoever that might be. Claim the amazing you've become and drop all that which no longer fits you. Me, I am Asia Sampson, writer slash performer slash cancer survivor slash husband slash father slash professional napper. No, I never became an architect, but I found much more joy in building people up. No, I never became a heart surgeon, but I try to write poems that cut through the chest and get to what's broken. And no, I never became a ninja. Actually, that's not true. I am totally a ninja. I'm like the most awesome ninja, fighting my best fight when the darkness comes. So tell the world to keep an eye out, because somewhere I'll be lurking, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. And when I do, I promise you will never see me coming. Utah State, make some noise. What's going on, guys? You guys, listen. I know, it was like quiet a little bit. You have no idea how like super excited I am to be here. Like, no, I'm not even joking. And the reason why is because I've made this a career since 2006. That's when I first started touring. Been to Utah a ton of times. I've done a lot of you guys' shows. And then COVID hit, and it affected all of us. I mean, it affected all of us now. I mean, look how far apart we're all sitting with each other, right? And we're all wearing masks, and and for artists like me, it was also hard because we couldn't tour anymore. So for the last 6 months since March, I've been doing a lot of virtual shows from home, which is great. But this is the first time, or I think maybe only the fourth time since COVID started that I got to perform in front of actual live people. And so you have no idea how excited I am to be here, to just be in front of people again and hearing your voices and seeing you in front of me and not just looking at myself on a Zoom screen, right? So I'm about to have fun now. I don't care if you don't. I am, right? Tonight, you are more than welcome to laugh. Don't make this feel like a Zoom call, right? Let's have a good time. We're all here. We're all about to spend about a good hour and a half, maybe-ish, of performances, not just for me, but some of your fellow students. So we're going to have a really, really good time. My name is Asia Sampson, and yeah, y'all ready for a show? Make some noise. What's up? Yeah? So cool thing too is that since I don't really get to travel much, I asked my wife, I'm like, well, I'm going to Utah. You want to come? Let's go make it a trip, man, and get away from this kid. You know what I mean? And so she came with me. We went to the Salt Flats and checked stuff out, and it was really cool. I just don't understand what is up with y'all weather, because y'all had great weather all week, and then I come here from Florida. And it is like I had to drive through that little canyon from Salt Lake City to here, and it started snowing up there, and I'm like, okay, I don't know about this stuff. Like, I know hurricanes, right? Like, I can drive through a hurricane. I don't know about the snow stuff. And then I had to walk from the parking lot to here, and I think my nipples froze and fell off. And I'm just saying, if you see a nipple outside later, just return it. Just to give you a point of reference, I'm Asian, so it looks like a chocolate chip. I'm just saying, if you see it, just please return it. So here's what I'm going to do. Tonight I'm going to introduce some guests and to perform for you. And in between those, I'm going to do some haikus, all right? Now, how many of y'all know what a haiku is? Yeah? Make some noise? Yeah? If you don't know what a haiku is, it's a 3-line poem, 5 syllables, followed by 7, followed by 5. In fact, I challenge you to write some haikus and then tag me in them, like tonight, right? I don't care, like on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, whatever. Just tag me in them. I would love to hear them. Here's the thing about haikus. You have to compact all this deep, thoughts into just 3 lines of poetry. So I'm going to read some of my deepest haikus. You may not get them, all right now, because they might be so deep. They're like, man, that's just so abstract. But maybe later when you're laying down in bed, it'll pop up and you're like, oh, man, I just got it. Wow, Asia, you are so deep, right? Okay. So don't feel bad if you don't get these, because they're super deep. Okay, number 1. Turn up. On fleek. Cash me outside. Stop texting me, Mom, you're 65. Oh, snaps, deep. Yeah, you can snap your fingers because it's deep. It's super deep. Number 2, I've got 99 problems, but a testicle, I only have 1. Oh, snap. Yes. Last one. Just because I have small feet doesn't mean I have a small... Let's skip that one. Okay. Y'all ready for your first act? Make some noise. Yeah? Coming up first for y'all, hold on, let me see, make sure I get it right. She's going to be doing guitar and singing. Y'all make some noise. Show some love for Tori Smith. Tori, where you at? Nobody, where's Tori? Is there a Tori Smith? No? Back there? Oh, come on up. Okay, new rule, you guys. When you hear your name, you come up here. That's how it works. Oh, they're pre. I just got to sit down. Oh, okay. I'll watch it with y'all then. All right, check. Okay, so that's how this works. Okay. It's like I'm hosting a watch party now. So this is like really cool. I just didn't know that. It was like really interesting. Okay. It's kind of like yeah, it's like virtually virtual, right? Like yeah, okay. Coming up on stage next. Oh, no, coming up on screen next. Make some noise. First of all, I'll give it up to Tori Smith. That was actually really good. Yeah. Coming up to the screen next, I want y'all to make some noise for some more poetry coming from Reagan Tracy. Make some noise. All right, so let's do this. Is Reagan Tracy in here right now? No? Because if you are, I would like have you stand up and like wave to everybody and say, yeah, that's who it is. No? Okay, cool. Well, give it up for Reagan Tracy one more time. So let me just do it real quick. Okay, I'm gonna do something fun. Let's do like a really fun poem. I'm gonna need your guys' involvement in this though. So let me just do a quick like history thing here. In 2000, like around 2009, I had done this poem it was a love poem, and it was kind of tied into like 1990s references, right? And I wrote this poem. It's a 1990, it's called "I Love You Like the 90s," and it got put on Button Poetry, and it somewhat went viral. And so, of course, because it went viral, I started doing it at all my college shows. And then every year that I would come back and do a show for a college, I realized I grew up a year older, but the audience stayed the same age, right? So eventually this generational gap between me and you started growing really, really wide, and people could no longer get the references of my 90s poem. However, about a few years ago, I get a call from Nokia Mobile. I'm not sure if you remember who Nokia was, but Nokia was the old cell phone company that would make phones that didn't crack. They were like bricks, right? Like this stuff, now you're like, oh my God, I dropped my phone. Like back then, you could throw your phone, it didn't matter, right? You know. So they called me and they said, hey, you know, we're relaunching our Nokia phones. We would love for you to take your 90s poem and make it into a 2000s poem so that we can use it as promo. So I wrote this poem for them, and I'm like, oh, this will be a good poem for me to tour now because a lot of you will get these references, right? So I'm going to do this poem. I will warn you, you're going to hear me say stuff about Nokia because I mean product placement. I had to, right? But I'm going to do this poem, and all I need you to do is if you hear something you remember growing up, just make more noise than everybody else, right? You know? Let's treat this show like sex, ladies, all right? Let me break it down. Like if me and you are in the same room together, which we are, right? And I'm going in, son, right? Like I am breaking it down. You know, I'm screaming, I'm yelling your name, I'm giving you moves I've never given anybody before, you know, crouching tiger, hidden dragon type stuff, right? And yeah, and you just lay there. It's gonna get awkward real quick, right? So you're more than welcome to laugh, more than welcome to scream, more than welcome to cheer. Do whatever you want, man. Like this is, we are actually finally together, and we're not zooming in somewhere. So feel free to act up. So all I want you to do is if you hear something in this poem you remember growing up, then make more noise than everybody else. That way I don't feel too old up here. All right? It doesn't look like it, y'all, but okay, you're not gonna believe this. I was born in the late 70s. Yeah, I know, son. I'm just saying. All right. All right, you ready? All right, here you go. I want to love you like 2000s. I want to love you like sport headbands and long white tees. I want to love you like FUBU jacket and Echo jeans. I want to love you like fitted caps with the tag still showing and be all up in the club when the bows start throwing me with the Jersey Shore blowout and super clean white sneaks. You with a tight pink tracksuit with the word princess written in rhinestones across your butt cheeks. And just in case you want to skeet, I'll love you from the windows to the walls to the other side of the room that also has windows. You know what? I don't even know what that means. I want to love you like 2000s, back when love was as reliable as my very first cell phone. And for you, I'll spend the 99 cents to download your perfect ringtone. So go ahead and call me over and over again. I want to love you like I love my Nokia 3310. I told you, see, I had to do that. The kind of love you can drop over and over and it'll never crack. I want to love you like that. The kind of love where I don't need games to keep me fulfilled. Because unlike smartphones today, my Nokia only had one game you can play. Who needs an angry bird when I can love you like Snake? Easy to learn, but hella hard to master. And the longer our love lasts, getting through it only gets harder because love ain't supposed to be easy. Girl, please. It's supposed to be as difficult as texting I love you using only the number keys. Like, you gotta press the number 8 3 times just to get a letter V. Love is crazy. Love is insane, yo. Love is creating voicemail greetings that start with a 1-minute slow jam intro. And we both know it sounded amazingly lame, but not as lame as spending hours staring at my computer waiting for you to pop up on AIM. And after the long-awaited wait, the first thing I do to find out if this love is true is to see if I made it to your MySpace top 8. I want to love you like 2000s. The kind of love as dramatic as primetime TV. I want our love to be awesome. Make you the Joey to my Dawson, the New York to my Flava Flav, the Jon Stewart to my Stephen Colbert. I want to love you right there through everything, even through all of Grey's Anatomy type of pain. And just when I think all hope is lost, I'll find you right behind me like Rachel to Ross saying, I got off the plane. Yeah, remember that? Best line ever. Seriously, best line ever. I want to love you like 2000s. I want to love you like we love saying "what's up" and chillax. I want to love you like Puffy and everyone's videos telling you to take that, take that. Back when love was over the top as Missy Elliott wearing a shiny garbage bag, working it with fluorescent paint on her face. I want to love you the way Nelly loved Band-Aids, the way 182 loved to blink. I want to love you the way people love debating who was better, Backstreet Boys or NSYNC. The answer? Boys to Men. The answer is always Boys to Men. I want to love you like 2000s. I want to love you like the iPod Classic with a click wheel and fill it with the 1,000 love songs we learned how to steal. I'm sorry, not steal. They said it was all free. That's why we spent all night on Napster downloading MP3s. Besides, who's really gonna tell? I want to love you like the day my internet got upgraded to DSL, because let's face it, 56K dial-up would always stall, messing up my house phone and disconnecting calls, but like love, I'll find a way to reach you wherever you are. I want to love you the way you love the six-disc CD changer in the trunk of your car, and since you can't reach it, you better choose the 6 CDs you're willing to listen to with no doubt. Otherwise, you have to pull over to the side of the road just to change it out. But like love, we'll stop whatever we're doing just to keep things at its best, because love has always been about progress. Each day an exciting time to discover something new. So I want to love you like 2000s, where every bold step into the future is just a step for me to get closer to you. Now take that, take that. All right. Bring up 2 more artists. All right, so let's do some haikus. These are my COVID haikus, all right? I hope you guys like my haikus, because they're really deep. I can tell some of you are not entertained, but I don't care. I'm very entertained reading them. 2020, you are like my ex-girlfriend. Exciting, but crazy. I wear masks. No, not the kind that stops viruses. I'm robbing a bank. Thank you. You laughed first. That was awesome. Like, yeah. If COVID teaches us anything, it's how to use unfriend button. Am I right? So many idiotic people this year. Like, I'm sorry. It's just like, okay, I don't know what it is, man. But like this whole year, like, we're not gonna talk politics. I mean, today was a huge day, like, for the country, right? And you know, whichever side you voted on, it's not me to say, and I'm not here to say, I'm just saying that, like, every year, man, like, the idiots come out. Like, and then with COVID, it's like, oh my God, I had to unfriend, like really, like 5G is giving you this? Like, really? Okay, yeah, bye-bye, okay. All right, y'all ready? Y'all ready for some artists? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Yeah? All right. Coming up next, singing for us, by way of, I guess, the screen again. I'm gonna watch it with y'all. It's like an award show where you get to watch like the clips. It's pretty cool. Give it up for Kat Hershey.
Andando el camino por toda su vida, respira. Si pierdes mis huellas, que Dios te bendiga, respira.
This is my street. I smile at the faces I've known all my life. They regard me with pride, and everyone's sweet. They say you're going places, so how can I say that while I was away, I had so much to hide? Hey guys, it's me, the biggest disappointment, you know. The kid couldn't hack it, she's back, and she's walking real slow. Welcome home, just breathe.
Andando el camino por toda su vida, respira.
Just breathe. As the radio plays old forgotten boleros, I think of the days when the city was mine. I remember the praise, I te adoro, te quiero. The neighborhood waved and said, Nina, be brave and you're gonna be fine. And maybe it's me, but it all seems like lifetimes ago. So what do I say to these faces that I used to know? Hey, I'm home.
Mira, mira,
Hey,
no me preocupo por él.
they're not worried about me.
Allí está nuestra estrella.
They are all counting on me to succeed. I am the one who made it out, the one who always made the grade. But maybe I should have just stayed home. When I was a child, I stayed wide awake, climbed to the highest place on every fire escape, restless to climb. I got every scholarship, saved every dollar. The first to go to college had a hard time. I'm coming back home with my eyes on the horizon. Just me and the GWB asking G. Nina, what'll you be? Straighten the spine, smile for the neighbors. Everything's fine, everything's cool. The standard reply, lots of tests, lots of papers. Smile, wave goodbye, and pray to the sky. Oh God, what will my parents say? Can I go in there and say, I know that I'm letting you down?
Nina,
Just breathe.
Kat Hirsch. Is she here? Is Kat here? No? So they're maybe is that why they're like zooming in or something? Yo, listen, you guys have like a lot of talent. Like it makes me kind of sad now that like it's on screen and not here, like so I can hear it live. Like, y'all give it up one more time, man. You guys, wow. Like that's 3 acts already. 3 acts that already. Like I'm like, wow, this is like cool to watch. Because sometimes I'll do shows at other colleges and like, oh yeah, you're doing an open mic, and then I'm like, what are you guys doing up there? But like, hella skills. All right, coming up next. And I'm sorry if I apologize if I mess up the last name because I'm trying to know how this is pronounced. But doing poetry, give it up for Sophia Thimes. Thimes or Thims? It's one of those. Give it up for Sophia Thimes, y'all.
Hello, I'm Sophia, and I have 4 poems. The first one is called I Used to Have a Mermaid Barbie Doll. I used to have a mermaid Barbie doll with a blue and pink tail that would sometimes fall off its joint, until one day she fell into the thrift store pile, and years later I found out that my friend had bought her the very same mermaid Barbie doll with a blue and pink tail that would sometimes fall off at the joint, and at her 4th of July family reunion, as was their tradition, tied her to a firework and watched as the tail finally fused together again before it burned and the toxic tang of plastic permeated the air, and I'm glad that I didn't know this until now. Monday at Noni's Cafe. This is the cafe on campus attached to the art museum. If you haven't been, you should check it out because they have really good soba noodles and stuff. Monday at Noni's Cafe. Monday at Noni's was interesting. You called me a sexy hummingbird. The attached art museum that we had planned to visit was closed because of 8th graders on a field trip. So you asked, do you think we could blend in as held back 8th graders? I said, yes. The museum employee at the front desk said no. So we went to a different gallery, where there was a white squirrel with a paper message in its mouth. It said, we hold on to things. Beneath it was a drawer full of small bones. The heart is the size of a tight fist. What are you holding on to? You catch my hand in yours, and my hummingbird body is a drawer full of small bones. Do you see that? Do you see how I am a drawer full of small bones? Me, sweating in my skirt like an 8th grader in your presence. Dark humor. My first 2 boyfriends, both, as a joke, slapped me in the exact same spot on the white couch in my parents' basement. Dark humor, as they would say. It was so funny, I opened my mouth and laughed until the 2 butterfly wings of my ribcage split from one another and flew in opposite directions until, upon colliding with the gray walls, collapsed and fractured, laying there, still. All right. And then this one is a little bit more playful. This is called POV, and it was created from the words that I collected from Instagram posts appearing on my feed. So they're just all words that I sort of compiled and rearranged from Instagram posts that I saw. POV. You listen to Hello Kitty telling you to think about little fears. Adorable. Animal Things audience has their limbs longer and looser. Vampire lovers. You feel sold. Perfect for hanging on the wall. Dream dress on your heaving bosom. Love you. Love your style. Which photo is fave? Makeup, bed, cafe, tired moon, horror glaze? If you are tagged in this pic, please make sure you don't return without gifts. Real update. Hello Kitty has their rough days too, OMG. We hope this presented more connected. Reminder that time is letting herself get used by people. Hashtag sensitive ass. Thanks.
Y'all give it up for Sophia one more time. So I want to get a little serious, do like a couple of serious poems, and let me just tell y'all how I work, right? Normally, pre-COVID, whenever you guys are in school, I'd usually be on the road, and whenever you guys are on break, I'm on break. So I love when you guys were on break, because that means I got to stay at home and do nothing all day except like scratch myself. Like literally had nothing to do with my time. At one point, summer 2012, my wife had noticed that I was starting to lose, like go crazy just being at home, right? Like she was like, oh my God, like you're just sitting here. You haven't even you're wearing the same thing you wore when I left for work this morning, right? And I'm like, well, I didn't have to go anywhere, right? And at one point she just looked at me, she goes, you should like go on vacation. And I'm like, well, where am I gonna go by myself, right? And so summer 2012, she's like, go to California, go visit your mom, your brother and sisters. That's where my siblings are from. Actually, raise your hand if you have like at least one other sibling and keep it up. I want to see how many people. Okay, keep it up if you have at least 2 or more. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Only 2 more. One person left. Okay. Oh, 2 people. 8, 9. Wow. Okay, wait. So over here, how many siblings how many of you total are there? There's 8 of you? And over here, how many of you guys are there? My gosh, that's like a small Philippine village. Well, there's 4 of us. It's me, my sister Kate, my brother George, and my sister Carla. This poem is actually from my sister Kate. So summer 2012, I flew to California just to kind of hang out with them. I told you I'm from Florida. So I flew over there, and basically all I did was sit at my mom's house, and I did the same thing at my mom's that I was doing at my house, which is to sit at the couch all day and not do anything, right? And so I would sit there, and I would wait for my sister to come home from work, which was like around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and she'd come home, sit down next to me, we'll open our laptops, watch television, and not say a single word to each other for like 4 hours, right? Like, have you ever been that close with somebody that you don't even need to talk? Like, you just love being around them so much, didn't matter if you had anything to say, you just love being in their presence. On the last day that I was supposed to fly back to Florida, my sister came home from work like really early, like 9 o'clock in the morning, and I looked at her like, well, what are you doing home? It's still only 9 o'clock. And she's like, well, I've had this headache, and it hasn't gone away in like 3 days, and today I just couldn't take it anymore. Now, mind you, my sister never calls out of work. Like, she's one of those people that no matter what, she always finds a way to make it in. Like, even, she just has that kind of work ethic. Like, even when she's sick, she goes into work. And the thing is, she never gets sick. Like, she just has that kind of work ethic that even if she's sick, she finds a way to make it in. And she's fully healthy. There's nothing wrong with her. I mean, except for maybe her liver, because apparently her and Hennessy have a very important relationship, right? In every family, there's always that one person whose job it is to get everybody drunk. Like, that's my sister. Like, she'll give shots to my grandma. And I'm like, Kate, you realize she's 89. And my sister will be like, well, she needs to man up. And the funny thing is, my grandma will outdrink all of us. I'm like, you forget, she came from the parts of the Philippines where they were like so poor that they couldn't afford liquor, so they would mix rubbing alcohol with Sprite. Like, that's just how gangster they were back then, right? Hennessy is like water to her, right? And my grandma would just outdrink us. So anyway, so for my sister to come home early, my mom is like bugging out. She's like, oh, we need to take you to the ER. Something might be wrong with your head. And I'm like, Ma, there's always something wrong with her head, right? And my sister was like, I'm fine. It's just a headache. It'll go away. I get these all the time. And I told her, just go in because you never know. Just make mom happy and go. And so they go to the ER, and I stayed home, finished packing. A couple hours later, I get a text message from my sister, and she's like, yeah, so it looks like they found a tumor in my brain. And I'm like, crap, first I went through cancer, now you might have cancer. So I'm like, all right. So I canceled my flight, went to the ER to check up on her. And when I got there, she was like, oh, good news. Looks like the tumor isn't cancerous. It's actually in between the two halves of the brain on the surface. And the doctor says all they got to do is cut a hole, take it out, and I should be out of there within a couple of weeks. It's not that big of a surgery. The only downside is they're going to have to put a metal plate in my head, but I think that's okay because I'll probably get better cell phone signal. Like, that's just how we make jokes, right? So knowing that she was going to be okay, I flew back to Florida that Friday. That Monday, she went into surgery. That Tuesday, I called up her fiance. I'm like, hey, how's my sister doing? He's like, oh, she's good. She woke up. She recognized all of us. She even called your brother ugly, so we know her brain's still intact, right? Only thing is she couldn't move some of her extremities, but the doctor said that that's probably because of the anesthesia, but when it wears off, she should be good to go. About that Thursday, I get a frantic phone call from my mom, and she's like, you need to come back. Somewhere in the middle of the night, a blood vessel hemorrhaged in her brain. They couldn't stop the bleeding, so they put her back into an induced coma and brought her back to the ICU. We don't know what's going to happen. Just get back here as soon as possible. So I flew back to California that Friday. By that Sunday, they had pronounced her brain dead. By that Monday, we had to pull the plug. And by that following Saturday, I was burying my sister. Now, I say all this to you because you're in school, right? And who knew that me going to California on a whim for 3 weeks would be the last 3 weeks I would ever have with her, right? Like I just went over there just on a whim and then not knowing that was all we were gonna do. And the thing is, all we did was sit there and just be in each other's presence. And I say this because if you're not busy now, like you're gonna get busier. And the busier and busier we get, the longer, the less and less time we have with the people that we love. So when we have that time, I just wanna remind you, don't ever let a moment go by that you don't let somebody know just how much they mean to you. Like we get so worried about what we have to do tomorrow or what we had to do yesterday that we forget to be in the moment that we're in. And then when we get to that next tomorrow, then we're worried about the next tomorrow. And then we're worried about, so when are we ever really there? Prior to COVID, the one thing that I noticed with just the world in general in the last few years is that we started getting more disconnected. Right? Have you ever sat around a group of friends and everybody's like on their cell phones? Like, who the hell are you talking to? Like, everybody that means something to you is right here, and you're worried about a world that doesn't even really exist. And then COVID happened, and suddenly now we're stuck with just a phone. Like, we couldn't be around people. And suddenly we realized just how much human connection meant, right? And I say this as somebody who's like hella older than y'all, like that. All that stuff, man, all the stuff that goes on is not really as important as the time that you have with the people that's in your lives. And if you've ever lost someone dear to you, then you'll know exactly what that means. So I just urge you, take this time that when we get a chance like this, when we actually get to be in the same room together, we may not get this for a while. You may never see me again. But for an hour of our lives, we get to spend it together, and let's cherish that, right? So I'm going to do the poem that I wrote for my sister. It's without a doubt the hardest poem I'd had to write, but I know that it might vibe with some of y'all. But it's called Awakening, and here it is. Let me just warn you, I haven't done this poem like live in front of people very often since COVID. So if the emotions come rushing back again and I kind of flub my words and stuff, let's just kind of hang in there with me because it is hard. It's hard to perform this poem, but there was a point when I was touring so much that I got so used to it that it just came out like automatically. But lately, it's just been hitting me more, especially with everything that's been going on in this world. And so, yeah. When the snow falls in the winter, the woolly caterpillar crawls into a crevice and freezes to death. Its blood stops flowing, its lungs hardens into ice, its heart comes slowly to a halt. The heart is always the last to go. But when the snow melts in the spring, the ice thaws from its ventricles, the crystals dissolves from its lungs, and just as slowly as it died, the woolly caterpillar awakens and comes back to life. For 120 hours, we waited for my sister to wake up. My family mumbling prayers around the doctor who tells us she fell into a coma when a blood vessel hemorrhaged, and my father hasn't stopped praying since. My stepfather searching the eyes of doctors for the answers to those prayers. My siblings pushing me into the room as though I could perform a miracle. My mother making twin towers of my arms the way she crashed into them now, while I attempted to believe that my faith far exceeds science and God would awaken her somehow. Awaken, sweet sister. Tell me that my tears, the size of mustard seeds, will fall upon your cheek and move the mountain of swelling in your brain. Tell me that the same God who makes all things possible can still live up to his name, because right now that name belongs to your mother, who's cursing God for being too coward to make up his own mind as she stares at the medical forms granting the hospital permission to let you die. If he wants her, then take her, she says. Who am I to decide? And by her side is your fiancé, whose fists are stones he's ready to throw if the doctor mentions organ donation just one more time. But your father, he sits still praying at your bedside, wrapping rosaries around your hands and tucking prayer cards behind your neck. God will resurrect my daughter, he says. Please, God, tell me she'll resurrect. How do I respond? How do I agree when the tubes of your IV intertwines around my throat, strangles my voice every time I plead? Awaken, sweet sister. Make this poem easier to write. Tonight, pull out the respirator in your throat and speak the words that will end this poem brighter than how it begun. Remove the tubes and we'll blow kisses into your veins that you may know where the true source of your life comes from, how it comes from your heart, how in this hurricane world you broke into tiny pieces, dropped them like care packages on our laps. You always had enough of it to give, which is why there are 200 people in the waiting room now, ready to give it back in case you need it to live. But on the seventh day, the doctor gave us the results of the last test my sister will ever take, and I swear I'm not built for earthquakes like that. My knees buckling like a bridge, my arms shaking too much to catch another one of my mother's crash landings. None of us was left standing. We were all falling through the cracks, falling until we hit the floor of her room that night. This is what rock bottom must look like. The nurse disconnecting her machines, our hands stretching to touch a part of her as we wailed, our tears dropping as fast as her heartbeat, our sanity vanishing with her breath. Faster it faded. My stepfather stroking her face, faster it faded. My father presses her hand to his cheek, faster it faded. We're still waiting on a miracle, faster it faded. My face planted to my mother's belly, mommy, this hurts, faster it faded, and then it was finished. The monitors dropped to 0, and as her breath emptied and her heartbeat slowed, her fiancé removes the ring from her finger, ties it to his necklace, and says, how fitting. It was her heart that was the last to go. It was silent after that, silent as my mother reaches over to close her daughter's eyes. My stepfather releases a long-awaited sigh. My sibling straightens the creases in her blanket while my father unravels the rosary from her hands, takes the prayer cards from behind her neck and slips them into his pocket, places a kiss on her forehead, her chest, and both her shoulders. Put in a good word to God for us, he says. And that's when I knew that all along we had failed to see the light at the end of this tunnel she was going through, because while we were praying for her awakening, the awakening was really meant for us to remind us that life is a coma we can still choose to wake up from. That faith means not having to wait for the sun to come, because sometimes the sun doesn't come, but we can still rise on our own. Her last breath has already blown life into the candles of our bones, with nothing more but a wish that we may live more fully. The woolly caterpillar freezes to death in the winter and comes back to life in the spring. For 14 years, it goes through the same cycle of awakening, waiting until the final year when its work is complete, then spins itself into a cocoon to be reborn a moth and fly away for good. So sleep now, sweet sister. You've surrendered your life for too many winters. We'll take it from here. Sleep now wherever you wake. May you be reborn with wings on your back, fly into the sun, knowing when our own winter ends, spring will come and we'll see each other again. But until then, yeah, put in a good word to God for us. All right, I'm sorry. Sorry, you guys. It's good. You should laugh, cry, all that tonight. Besides, if you go through all the emotions you could possibly feel, then you feel like you had a complete day, right? You go back to your room and be like, oh my God, what did I do today? I laughed, I cried, I did everything. Yeah. So here are my love haikus. Love is about trust. Want to test it? Don't clear your browser history. Fellas. Listen, you need to have a friend that in the event of your demise will know exactly what to do with your devices. Yeah? I have said friends. Like, because you don't want to get caught with some stuff after you're gone, right? Have that kind of homie, right? Like Operation Wipeout in effect. Like, yeah, see? Yeah. When you love someone, love even their sickness. My wife's sickness is Target. Like, for real, okay. The other day, she's going to hate that I call this out because she's over there. So the other day we were, and she knows the story too. So we were at Target the other day, and we were in the car, right? And I look over at her. I go, okay, we're going inside Target, right? What are we getting? We're getting paper towels, we're getting hand sanitizers, and we're getting shampoo, right? She's like, yeah. I'm like, that's right? She's like, yes. I go, that's all we're getting, right? And she looked at me, she's like, I don't know. I'm like, no, you cannot make an audible like that. Like, I don't know what is y'all obsession with Target. As soon as you walk in there, you start buying stuff that you don't need, like porcelain pineapples. Like, why is that even a thing? See, I know y'all are laughing because some of y'all are like probably obsessed with Target. Like, y'all make it a point to do Target runs, I'm sure. And then you come home, like, I was only supposed to buy this, and then I come home with like a spatula for absolutely no reason. Okay. I would write haikus about your endless beauty, but don't have enough. I like that. Yeah, thank you. You can remember that. Use it as your own. Okay. All right, we got a couple more performers. Y'all ready? Make some noise, yeah? We still good? We still good? We having fun? We all right? All right, y'all, coming up to this virtual stage. The person who actually, I think, brought me here and I've been talking to all night. Cy Robinson, y'all, doing some poetry for y'all. Make it some noise for Cy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Cy Robinson. I'm going to be doing some COVID-related poetry for you. I did not write these myself. These come from the New York Times poem to the editor. Didn't know that was a thing. So this first one is called Work From Home. I remember the days when I would speculate that working from home would simply be great. No need for a car, the tie, the suit. No need ever again for the daily commute. I could work in my jammies or wear nothing at all, and never once worry about the boss down the hall. I dress only when I'd be meeting in Zoom, then I'd have to clean a little part of my room. And how great it would be with no one to watch as I took a nip now and then from my bottle of scotch. But now that it's happened, my dreams haven't come true, 'cause working from home is like life at a zoo. A big cage of monkeys couldn't be any worse. The noise and congestion drives me to curse. With everyone here, there's no peace and quiet. It's not at all what I thought when I wanted to try it. Alas, working from home, I get nothing done. And what's even worse, it's not that much fun. Now I yearn for the days when I went off to work. Working from home, it turns out, was the dream of a jerk. That one is titled Working From Home by Michael R. Whitney. This next one is called Before the Times, and it happens to be by Bonnie Shaw from Salt Lake City, so we got some Utah love. The Before Times. Before we were living in a pandemic, we went to lunch with our friends in restaurants and slurped soup with crackers we crushed with our bare fingers, our ordinary fingers that did not ignite terror, that were not vectors of disease. Before the days of self-isolation, shopping was just another chore. Sometimes a pleasure, a stroll through Costco sampling from little paper cups, protein bars and chocolate candies and popcorn and potato chips, strolling and sampling and buying big bags of broccoli and spinach and Asian cashew salad and giant containers of gourmet cheese and, yes, toilet paper. But before times have receded deep into memory as if it all happened 10, no, 20 years ago when we lived in another land of freedom and movement and laughter and hugging and sitting in each other's living rooms, living alive, chatting for hours without measuring the social distance, without wearing N95 surgical masks or nitrile gloves, without anxious fear. We are living in another land, frightened and confused, our minds always tasked with remembering to wash our hands, not touch our face, not touch packages or mail without gloves and Clorox wipes, and yes, remembering to worry as if anxious worry could create a high wall surrounded by a moat of reeking and fuming disinfectant to keep us safe in this new land of contamination and fever and suffocation and death. We must not forget the before times, when we could touch doorknobs, doorbells, the mail, UPS packages, restaurant tabletops, colleagues' keyboards, and other people's hands, our own faces. We must not forget dinner parties, book groups, political rallies, concerts, movies, worship services, protests, weddings, funerals. In the before times, we shared our joys and sorrows together. Will we ever live together again? Again, that's by Bonnie Shaw, a resident of Salt Lake City. We got that Utah love. And this very last one, it's pretty short. This one is called Wish by Erica Fine. The weeks go by, the 4th, the 5th, and normalcy's beyond a myth. I want to hug, I want to hold, I want this deadly scourge controlled. I want to walk amidst the crowd, I want to lift this morbid shroud. I sit sequestered in my home and yearn to mingle, travel, roam. My energy is out of whack. I want my normal problems back. All right. Thank you, everybody. I hope you have enjoyed this COVID-related poetry. I hope we all have a lovely rest of our evening. Thank you.
Give it up for Sai one more time. All right. Next performer, we got a duet. Should be awesome. So y'all make some noise, show some love for Tyler Barton and Sadie Mangum.
I should die before awake, it's 'cause you took my breath away. Losing you is like living in a world with no air. Oh,
I'm here alone, don't wanna leave. My heart won't move, it's incomplete. Wish there was a way that I can make you understand. So how do you expect me to live alone with just me? 'Cause my world revolves around you, it's so hard for me to breathe. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Can't live, can't breathe with no air. It's how I feel whenever you ain't there. There's no air, no air. Got me out here in the water so deep. Tell me how you gonna breathe without me. When you ain't here, I just can't breathe. There's no air, no air. No air, air, oh. No air, air, no, no air, air, oh no. I walked, I ran, I jumped, I flew right off the ground to float to you. There's no gravity to hold me down for real.
Somehow I'm still alive inside. You took my breath, but I survived. I don't know how, but I don't even care. So how do you expect me to live alone with just me? 'Cause my world revolves around you, it's so hard for me to breathe. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Can't live, can't breathe with no air. It's how I feel whenever you ain't there. There's no air, no air. Got me out here in the water so deep. Tell me how you gonna breathe without me. When you ain't here, I just can't breathe. There's no air, no air. No air, air, oh. No air, air. No, no air, air. Oh no. So how do you expect me to live alone with just me? 'Cause my world revolves around you, it's so hard for me to breathe. Tell me how I'm supposed to breathe with no air. Can't live, can't breathe with no air. It's how I feel whenever you ain't there. There's no air, no air.
Got me out here in the water so deep. Tell me how you gonna breathe without me. When you ain't here, I just can't breathe. There's no air, no air, no air, air, oh. No air, air, no air, air, oh no, no air, no air.
Give it up for Tyler and Sadie one more time. Tom, man, y'all serious, man. Talent up in here. I wish this was all a live thing. That would have been so awesome to watch too in person. Thank you guys for having me. I got like a couple more poems and then we're gonna kind of wrap up the night. So I promise this is the last like real serious poem that I'm gonna do because I don't want to like down you guys too much. But you know, this poem I wrote for my wife, and so for a very long time, like ever since cancer, in the first poem I told you that we had a kid, but getting to that kid was a challenge in and of itself, because I mean, going through testicular cancer, you know, like it was hard, you know, to try to get pregnant, right? And we knew that after I had faced cancer. Now, my sister was, you know, Kate, who passed away, was notorious for wanting us to have children. Like, we would visit California, and she would, like, push us into the guest bedroom, and she'd be like, don't come out till you've conceived. I'm like, yeah, that's creepy, right? But that's just how she was. And so when she found out that we got pregnant 2 years after my cancer, and she got like super excited. She's like, oh my God, you have to name your kid after a hotel in Vegas, because like she loved Vegas. And I'm like, first of all, I'm not naming my kid Bellagio, right? And she's like, no, it doesn't have to be that. It could be like, you know, Caesar, or it could be Aria. And I'm like, oh, Aria, that's a great name, like Game of Thrones, all that stuff, right? So, you know, we had it all set. And then 2 months into our pregnancy, we were coming home from a holiday party, and my wife was like, hurry up and get home, I need to really use the bathroom. So I rushed home, and this is kind of where this poem picks up from. It's hard for her to hear this poem sometimes because it kind of reminds her of that night, but I'll just do the poem and then we'll talk about it like right after. So here it is. The shower has been running for over an hour. When I find her, she is sitting cross-legged at the far end of the bathtub, and without looking up, she says, the blood has finally slowed down. These were the first words she's spoken since the hospital. I'm sure she's been waiting to speak until now, at least here, with the water streaming down her face. There's no way for me to tell if she's been crying. She says, remind me tomorrow to cancel the baby registry. What am I supposed to say? I'm supposed to be good with words, but right now there's a bright pink river snaking its way towards the drain, and I can't get my tongue to paddle us upstream back into her womb where we left our happiness yesterday. I read the story of a 12-year-old boy locked for 2 years in the bathroom, the light switch covered with duct tape to keep him from turning on the lights. When they found him, he was too weak to climb out of the bathtub on his own. Before that, I read the story of a 3-year-old child hung upside down and beaten with a frying pan, then left to die on the floor while his parents screwed on the air mattress next to him. Before that, I read the story of a 6-year-old girl who felt the only way to overcome the bullying was to hang herself with a jump rope. A jump rope. At what point did she feel so ignored? She felt the only way to be heard was to turn that jump rope into a cord, tie that cord around her voice, anchor it to the heavens, and play telephone with God. Sweet, sweet girl, if only my wife would have heard you. She would have answered that call. She would have shown you how to use that jump rope properly. It's why I don't tell her these stories of these children born into monsters and afraid to sleep in the dark, because it would only remind her there's a night light we bought for the nursery that will never be used. It's even one of those night lights that light up the ceiling with tiny stars. That night, we slept in each other's arms, our bodies entwined into a figure 8 of infinity, because that's how loud we dialed up the silence. And the only words of comfort I could muster was to tell her we'll just be the best and an uncle to everyone else's kids. Like this was some sort of consolation prize. Sometimes the math just doesn't add up. On one side is a child wanting nothing more than a safe place to sleep. On the other, our parents staring at a crib they will never get to assemble. My God, can you not see this? Can you not do something to close the distance? Or at least tell me what to say to my wife to lift her up. When an empty womb feels so heavy, all she can do is collapse in the corner of our bathtub that Sunday. As I sat in church with my arms crossed, I glanced over to find her on her knees, her surrender telling me that sometimes the only way up is to hit the ground. The whispered prayers will reach heaven further than my screams. And for 2 years she did this, not once getting loud, stacked each prayer on top of the other until it was high enough to pierce the clouds. And finally he answered, his cross appearing in the window of that positive pregnancy test. And now I am bent over the same bathtub I found her years before, giving our 2-year-old son a bath. He splashes water on the floor, laughs when I get angry, and when we finish, when I tell him to put his bath toys away, he kisses each one just before he drops it into the basket. He knows how to love because he is loved. He knows how to love because he is loved. I pray every child could be as lucky. So, like I said, my son is like 6 years old now, and this dude is like a character, man. Like, he is like, I swear to God, like, so we tell him he's not allowed to come. So he had this thing where he would wake up at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, he would not sleep in his own room because 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, you hear pitter-patter of feet across the hall, and then we wake up, and there he is, laying like in between us, right? He did this all the time. And at one point, my wife says to him, because you're not allowed to come in this room as long if there's no light outside yet, right? And so the thing is that the bathroom is in our room, right? And I think like a few months ago, we woke up and at like 5 o'clock in the morning because we hear him like groaning, like, you know, and like we wake up and he's standing at the door, like going like this, right? And I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I need to use the bathroom. I'm like, well, then why don't you use it? He's like, well, you said I'm not allowed to come inside until there's light out. I'm like, this dude has been standing there for like, I'm like, just, can you go piss? Like, get the hell out of here. So I've always wanted to write a poem for him, right? Like ever since he was born, obviously as a poet, like I want to write a poem, but the poem never came to me. And if you're an artist, I'm going to tell you, don't force your work. Like sometimes you got to let the work speak when it's time. And I didn't want to just write this cliche father loves son type of poem. And then last year, he's in first grade now, but he started kindergarten last year. And the first day of school, I remember changing him. Now, before I tell you this part of the story, and what I need you to know is that my son was born with something called neurofibromatosis, which is NF for short. Now, NF, by all accounts, is not really anything dangerous, right? The only thing that NF, they say that the worst case scenario is that he'll start getting a lot of tumors, but they're not cancerous. They just start to build a lot of tumors on their body. If you've ever seen pictures of people where it looks like their faces are melting off, a lot of times those are people with the extreme rare cases of NF, which is like they had so many tumors it starts to like, you know, bring down their skin. Fortunately, he doesn't have that. But one of the things that NF does, it'll cause like speech delays. He didn't even start talking until he was like 2.5 years old. It can also cause physical delays where he didn't even walk until he was like almost 2. And he couldn't even jump until he was like 3. But he's now kind of in a way caught up. Like we've helped him along that he's like just fine now. But, you know, NF is still there. And one of the ways they know that you have NF is when you're born, you have all these birthmarks all over your body. And my son had all these like dots like everywhere. He has big ones, small ones, like they're just all over the place. And so I remember the first day of school, I was changing him, and I knew that kids could be cruel. And so I put a hoodie on him because I was trying to hide the spots, right? And he was like complaining. He's like, Daddy, it's hot outside. Remember, we're in Florida. It was like 90 degrees out, and here I am putting a hoodie on him. And I'm like, just keep it. It'll be fine. And he was like, no, but Daddy, I'm going to sweat. And he was like, you know, like complaining with me. And then I stepped back, and I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why am I making you hide something? And I started to realize like that's where the poem was. So I wrote this poem for him, but really it's dedicated to all of us in here. Every single one of us in here, including myself, we all have something that we are very insecure about, right? And my insecurities were being bled on to my son. And I'm here to just remind you that, you know, whatever you're insecure about, embrace it, right? Because that's what makes you who you are. You know, we live in this world of Instagram and filters and everything like that where everybody has to look perfect, but nobody's lives is perfect. It may look like that online, but nobody's lives is perfect. And then when we start to compare ourselves with them, we realize that, you know, it's not what we think it was. You know, so this is kind of where the poem is, to remind you that whoever you are, man, we're each of us individually different from one another. Not one of us is identical, and so don't hide the stuff that you feel that you're insecure about. Embrace it instead. And so this is the poem, one of my favorite poems, and I hope you like it, and here it is. Every year, There are roughly 130 million babies and 150 billion stars born in the entire known universe. In a span of 9 years, my wife and I had 3 known miscarriages. All that to say, we spent a lot of time floating in the empty void of space, wondering why the numbers never stacked in our favor. When we finally caught the comet, the geneticist saw the 100 tiny birthmarks that freckled my son's entire body and told us this was a symptom of neurofibromatosis, a rare genetic condition that can cause benign tumors to grow in the brain, spinal cord, and nerves. At its worst, so many tumors can grow, it can sag his skin and make his face look like it's melting, and I'm wondering, how will I handle the tumors if they come? If I can't even stand to look at the birthmarks that are already there, fast forward 4 years. It's his first day of school and he's throwing a tantrum because I'm making him wear a hoodie in this 90-degree weather, but I can't tell him I'm trying to hide the spots. It's just I know too well people's tendency to be cruel, how they like to chop down trees just to make more handles to mount their axe, and I won't let him get whittled down by sharp tongues like that, watching them take from him and turn him into something that he's not until he slowly becomes the weapon that's turning on himself. I know too well that kind of self-hate, and right now I'm just doing my best to control the fate of what's meant to become of my son. So please just put this hoodie on, because you can't yet see your birthmarks for what they truly are. But just then, while standing there naked, he held up his arms and said, "Daddy, they look like stars." Then pointing to the biggest one on his ribs, he said, "Daddy, this one looks like a spaceship. So forgive me for failing to compose myself when he started making up stories of the spaceship flying through the galaxy that is his body. Have I forgotten how much energy it takes to create a planet? Have I forgotten about the black hole that can suck the life out of an empty womb? Have I forgotten about the empty space that was left behind after the first time I dismantled the unused crib in our bedroom? How dare me think I know more about this universe than you do? How dare me forget all the stars that fizzled out before you came shining through? You were born, you are here, riddled with spots as proof you exist. It's why they call them birthmarks to begin with. So how lucky are we that you have more than most, miracle boy? I know one day you might want to eclipse yourself into that hoodie to hide behind the moon as they stare and point. Well, let them stare and point the same way they stare and point at stars in wonder and awe. Remind them they are merely specks of dust in the vastness of your presence. And when the bullies come with their meteor shower of insults aiming to hit you at your core, swing your Milky Way arms to the bridge of their nose so they will always know that you are the Big Bang your mother and I have been waiting for, you walking constellation, you light-speed traveler, you rocket of hope. I've gone on with this metaphor for too long, I know, but every year there are roughly 130 million babies and 150 billion stars born in the entire known universe. All that to say, no matter how worse your condition becomes, we will always love you until infinity. You are our son, our 1 in 150 billion. All right, guys, we have 2 last performers left. Are y'all ready? Make some noise. Are y'all ready? Y'all ready? Y'all ready? 2 more left. All right, haikus. Here it is. Despite stereotype, not all Asians are good at math. That's why this haiku has 27 syllables. This I wrote for one of my son's first teachers. I love his teachers now, but he was in pre-kindergarten, and she had said some stuff to us, and so this is the poem I wrote. You think he needs pills because he can't sit still. Maybe you're just boring. Yeah, right? I asked my son what he wants to be when he grows up. He said, happy. It's true, I asked him that. All right, here it is. First performer, first of the last 2 performers of the night. I want y'all to make some noise. Show some love for Gray Harding.
My name is Gray Harding, and I'll be singing Screen by 21 Pilots. I do not know why I would go in front of you and hide my soul, 'cause you're the only one who knows it. Yeah, you're the only one who knows it. And I will hide behind my pride. Don't know why I think I could lie, 'cause there's a screen on my chest. Yeah, there's a screen on my chest. I'm I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool. I can't see past my own nose. I'm seeing everything in slow-mo. Look out below, crashing down to the ground, just like a vertical locomotive. That's a train. Am I painting the picture that's in my brain? A train from the sky, locomotive. My motives are insane. My flow's not great. Okay, I conversate with people who know when I flow on a song I'll get no radio play. Well, you're doing fine. There's some people and I who have a really tough time getting through this life, so excuse us while we sing to the sky. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool. Ay, 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 ay. Oh, we're broken, we're broken, we're broken, we're broken people. We're broken people. Yeah, we're broken, we're broken, we're broken, we're broken people. We're broken people. Yeah. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool. I'm standing in front of you. I'm standing in front of you. I'm trying to be so cool. Everything together, trying to be so cool.
Give it up for Gray Harding. Guys, we're coming to the end, y'all. All right, last performer, make some noise, show some love for Christina Carter.
You gave me the whole world, so why am I searching the universe to find you, find you? I should have seen the signs, shadows in your eyes, running circles like a comet in orbit. Everybody says I'm better off without you. It's taken me this long, but baby, we're through. Hey, hey, darling, I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. Why do I try to prove anything to you? I'm better off without you, baby. I got swept away like the moon moves the waves. Held on too tight and I lost you lately. Everybody says I'm better off without you. It's taken me this long, but baby, we're through. Hey, hey, darling, I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. Burn me with your fire, haunted by desire. You run away. Hey, hey, hey. You were struck by lightning, must have all been frightening. Run away. Hey, hey, darling, I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. I'm not chasing. not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star. I'm not chasing Orion. I'm not chasing Orion. Better run and catch a falling star.
Give it up for Christina. That was it. Those are our well, I guess not open mic, but those were your curated performers for the evening. I'm gonna shut it down like with one last poem for y'all. Before I do, I just wanted to, if you guys get back, into your dorms or apartments or wherever you live, go visit my website, theasiaproject.com. That's the Asia Project, not the Asian Project. If you go to theasianproject.com, it's a website that sells bowls and noodles. Like, that's not me. I just didn't want you to get on there like, oh, that's his hustle. No, that's not, right? TheAsiaProject.com, from there it leads to our online store. We have like swag and all this really cool stuff there. You could also go there and stream our, so when I say we, normally I tour with my brother-in-law. For a long time we toured together. This is the year I started going on my own, but he would normally do music for me. So all of our music is on iTunes, on Spotify, it's on Apple Music, it's on Amazon. Like, you can Google us. It's also on the website. So if you want to hear the poems again, they're streaming everywhere. So just go to theasiaproject.com. Also, you can follow us YouTube, Twitter, Instagram at The Asia Project. I'm not on Twitter much, but I'm mostly on Facebook and Instagram. I love Instagram, so I'm always on IG, and also on YouTube. Actually on YouTube, I started a vlog too. So if a lot of you are writers and want to know how I write and things like that, there's a vlog section just dedicated to like performing and how to write poems and things of that nature. Yeah? So I'm just going to go ahead and finish out. I just need to let y'all know that when I first started this career in 2006, I had this, I got on HBO and stuff, and I had this huge dream of I'm going to get big, I'm going to get millions of followers, I'm going to blow up and all this. And then, through that time, my sister passed away, then we had miscarriages, and I had cancer, and then, we had this kid, and then, then COVID, and all the stuff that just happened in my life. And you start to realize what's really important, right? And now it's like not so much this huge thing of chasing fame and fortune, but just knowing that whatever it is you think is going to make you happy, you already have it. We're always chasing happiness, right? We're always chasing for something, and then that bar always gets raised every time. Like, happiness should not be like this goalpost, because every time you get to that happiness, the goalpost just moves further. But we have to start to realize that we are already happy and that we have everything that we need. And and so I wanted to write this poem because when I had these dreams of changing the world, somebody had said to me, I'm not here to change the world. I just want to change the little corner that I'm in. And that resonated so much with me. Like, you guys are all in school and are aiming to do these humongous things probably in your lives. Just change the little corner in your life, and that's enough, right? I mean, if you do bigger things, then great, awesome. But don't let that be the goalpost. Just be happy and do what you love with passion, and do what you love and make a mark on people's world. I don't know if I made a mark in your world tonight. I don't know if there's things that I've said that may have resonated with you, but I hope if it did, then I've done my job, right? Whether or not you guys follow me on all the social media stuff or not, just the fact that you are here and that you listened. So, and for that, I am very thankful. So, before I go, just please, first of all, give it up for yourselves for being here and being present. Yeah, give it up, yeah. Give it up to all the performers that have performed tonight. Give it up for them. That was one of the best curated videos I've ever seen of performances, man. I'm totally impressed. My wife actually texted me from the back. She's like, man, all these guys are really, really good. I think what she was trying to say was, what are you doing up there? You know what I mean? But whatever, it's fine. All right, so I'm going to do my last poem, but before I do, I'm going to end with these last 3 haikus. If you don't like these haikus, then I don't know what to tell you, because these are my favorite ones, okay? Okay. I believe there's no such things as dogs, said the dyslexic atheist. Just wait. Just wait. Some of people looking so confused. I'm going to say it one more time. I believe there's no such things as dogs, said the dyslexic atheist. It'll get you. It'll get you. That one was deep. Practice safe sex. Use protection, like a helmet, Hashtag headboards hurt. I'm telling you, write some haikus. The more hilarious they are, tag me in them. Like, really? I don't care, Twitter, Facebook, I don't care. Tag me in them. I would love to read them. It'd be dope. All right, this is the last one. I'm going to give this to you as a freebie. You can use this when you're going through something like a hard time in your life, because I wrote this when I was going through a really hard time, and it became a mantra. So if you're going through that same hard time that I was going through, then repeat this to yourself, and maybe you'll get through it. So this is it. Push through the pain. No matter how hard, victory will be yours. Pooping. After my y'all have me laughing. After my sister died, my siblings and I had this morbid joke about what we would want written on our tombstones. I told them I wanted mine to say, "Thank you for visiting. Now please stop standing on my nuts." Not once, between the sick laughter in our teeth, did it occur to any of us. We don't write our own tombstones. Now, if the thought of that doesn't scare you, then clearly you haven't thought about the jury responsible for yours, our lovers, our family and friends, or God forbid, our children, because those fuckers have more evidence to judge us than anyone. And you're saying that doesn't scare you to death? You don't turn ghosts at the thought that there are people out there who could see right through you? Relax. No one is paying good money to the chisel to remind us you were kind of a dick. Even killers are buried and forgotten in unmarked graves. I am not afraid to be forgotten. I am more afraid my grave will be a monument to a man I never actually became, this embellished lie planted above my casket, forever to hang over my head. But had you asked me back then, I would have said, carve me legend. Carve me saddled on my high horse, carve all my accolades around the base. Might want to spring for the whole mausoleum to make it all fit, if you know what I'm saying. But I've since racked up too much mileage on this tongue from all the years spent running my mouth, and I've since found out that the choir that sings your praises can quickly become the choir that will tear down your pulpit for the materials to build your cross. I know I'm no Jesus. Most times, it's my own God complex that has even my loved ones staring me down with a handful of nails. I'm pretty sure they can't wait to hammer into my ankles if it'll keep me from constantly putting my foot in my mouth. Now, if I could just manage to mortician the ego out, then maybe my open casket won't look so grotesque. We all want to put our best face forward. It's just most times my best face forward has me turning my back to those responsible for collecting my bones. There's a reason resumes are not carved on tombstones. There's a reason my son can't quote a lick to any of my poems, but word for word recite every one of my bedtime stories that has made him laugh. I remind myself that to water where the grass grows, because the worst blow anyone could deliver to a writer like me is a tombstone with something so cliche like loving husband and father, just to take up the space of having nothing else better to say. Nothing is worse than being forgotten, than being remembered but unforgiven. It's why this poem is now in its 50th revision, rewriting and rewriting until I have a story where I don't end up the bad guy, because the bad guys are sometimes the ones with the best intentions but became too obsessed trying to control what their tombstone will say. I don't ever want to win this life like that. I want to be so far back on my final lap that by the time I cross the finish line, the balloons are gone. The music has stopped. The crowd has dispersed. And the only ones left to cheer me on are those that taught me compassion, taught me decency, taught me humility, and just maybe I'll make them proud enough to tell the chisel, to tell the tombstone, he was a good man. Yeah, that's it. As simple as that might be, I just really hope my tombstone says, he was a good man. Now please stop standing on his nuts. Utah State, thank you guys for having me, man. God bless y'all. Good night.
All right, everybody, thank you for coming. Thank you for sticking around. Could we have another round of applause for Asia, who's been a fantastic MC? All right, yeah. On your way out, there is food in the back. Take one, take two. Make friends with your roommates. Bring them something, bring them a treat. There's additional food in the lounges, so if we run out here, go to the lounges. But again, thank you guys all for coming. We really appreciate it, and have a fantastic rest of your evening.